today I'm going to be burying some spells. So this is, I'll have to trowel out. So this is where I've buried sweetening spells, glamour spells for clients, things that you can sort of have on your property. And there's some stuff that someone else has left out here, not spell related, but jars. Now I need to scout a good spot for putting nefarious type spells. So stuff for clients that are more, not nefarious, banishings. Oh, sending negative energy back to, the crap person that's sending it your way, that kind of thing. So I'm looking for a spot that feels very liminal. So I need a spot I can still access that hopefully feels more liminal, not actually within the garden. So that's my kind of compromise, wanting the energy to not be within my life, not within my sphere, but somewhere I can still access. And we do have sort of, the backyard sort of ends there, and we do have some liminal feeling spaces. So I'm going to go scouting down there and see what feels good. I was having a moment here, just enjoying, feeling preposterous in the rain. It was delightful. So I am deeply fortunate to live in this space. So you have like the edge of the garden, and then we just have forest. Forest, which I can't quite access, but down here might be an interesting spot. It is beautiful, deeply and fervently. Got to watch out to not slip. Deeply, gorgeously wonderful. Oh God. But I need something that's not too out of sight, because having ADHD, if something's out of sight, I'll tend to forget, and I can end up burying several holes, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I'd like to just, the mud. I love a good garden shoe, but these are not very, not very grippy. And there's always a lot of mud, which is marvellous, but gotta watch out. So I'm thinking over here could be better. Oh God. What's that sound? Oh God, I squelched this mud and it sounded like a creature. These are holes for the little land crustaceans, I believe. Yeah, didn't know that was a thing till I moved out here. So muddy. So this will be, my way is kind of blocked by all this. Used to be able to get down there. This will be not just an intellectual exercise, this will also be a feeling exercise, an intuitive one. And also something about asking the land, getting some information back, and also the practical. Oh, that looks great. Like, I can't get down there anymore because of all these snippings. So we'll see. So this could be a good spot. Certainly intellectually it seems like a good spot. I have to feel out the rest. But it's on the boundary between my property and the neighbours. So it feels got, again, a liminal aspect. We're close to the edge of the forest. Close as I can really kind of get at this point. We have been felling some things that need to be felled, and now the way into the forest is not happening. Isn't that gorgeous? So this does have some liminal aspects. I was hoping for it to be more liminal in that sense of like backyard than forest, but this is close as I can get, and it also has a liminal aspect of boundary here. And I like that it'll be sort of out of the way, I can still see it, but it is not sort of in people's walking path as well. Oh, just look at that mist today. Exquisite. So this is where I think I shall be burying some things. Look at that beautiful soil. I'm not used to such beautiful dark soil. Having grown up in Canberra, it's very clayey and difficult. So this is just gorgeous. This is just a never-ending joy to work with this beautiful dark rich soil that is quite yielding. So I did bury those spells. I didn't show that part to you because that is private energies. But yeah, found a good spot, happy with that. But yeah, I thought I should maybe explain a bit about what that's about. Why we bury spells. So it's not part of all traditions. It's not something that you have to do. It's something I sort of learnt to do from the hoodoo tradition. I've learnt a lot from that wonderful, vivaciously alive folk tradition. So I learnt it from hoodoo, and then it also kind of made sense to my green witch kind of leanings about giving back to the earth, letting the earth kind of deal with those energies and returning that which you've borrowed. So I use a lot of herbs in my spells, so it feels like returning those herbs to the ground, which very much makes sense to my green witch kind of knowledge. Yeah, so also the hoodoo tradition taught me about putting putting spells either for yourself and, or in my case more for clients, because I do client spells much more regularly, putting those spells outside your property line. You can also put the contents in a bag and then in the bin. Sometimes it's totally the right thing. You don't have to bury all your spells. It sort of makes sense to me, and I will have things in my kind of spell jars or spell plates which are non-toxic, so I can sort of bury things easily. I won't bury glass or anything that would taint the soil, and I use predominantly like soy wax, but some of my chime candles are not soy, so I won't put those remains in the ground. But putting though like things that are about like banishings or pushing things away from you, or cursing others, putting them outside your property line is a way of not inadvertently bringing that energy back into your life. It's about like keeping that just outside that kind of personal realm, so that it can affect others or like repel kind of negative energy that's sent your way. But that's kind of like the feeling around it, and yeah, that really kind of makes sense to me, and I really value that so much that I've learnt from that hoodoo tradition. It has taught so many of us, particularly those who are really broken away from, as a white person in Australia, really broken away from my roots in Scandinavia and Germany and things like that. So yeah, I really value the accessibility of hoodoo and the different things it's taught me, and then the way that I've like folded that into my green witchcraft. So there's an eclectic element to my craft, and it's really important to, I think, go about that in a really respectful kind of way. But that's another topic. That's another topic. The way that the eclectic by white people can be problematic, but and that's another huge topic for another day. But yes, that's sort of like where I'm coming from, and that's sort of like part of what I do for clients is I love having a space where I can put spells in the ground for them as part of completing the spell. You don't have to do it that way. You might have a totally different tradition, and that's fine. There's multiple traditions. But yeah, that's just something I'm enjoying at the moment, enjoying showing that to you guys. Something I'm focused on at the moment. Yeah, so just feel like sharing that with you guys.